So yesterday I made a video about how the left is poisoning America. They are implanting their ideas in the youth of our country. And I made the analogy that it's like a factory that is just poisoning every fish that comes by it with their poisons that seep out into the river of ideas, and it floats downstream and then affects the rest of America. And eventually you reach a critical mass of toxin that is in the river, and then everything around it dies. This also is being exacerbated by the fact that Joe Biden has announced that he is going to shut down school choice, which is definitely a gift to the teachers' unions. And this is going to, worst of all, it's going to affect those parents who are unable to send their kids to private schools or to a religious school. And unfortunately, that is generally the inner city kids, the more impoverished parents that are reliant upon the government to give their kids a very good education. And unfortunately, it's just an education that is fraught with social justice narratives. You see, one of the things that Donald Trump didn't do, unfortunately, until the end of his presidency, and you have to give him credit for at least trying it, is enact an executive decision eliminating critical race theory from the government. This is the same stuff that is migrating to the schools that are being taught to younger and younger children. Unfortunately, Joe Biden, in an effort to give a gift to the wokeism that got him elected, has announced that critical race theory would be employed once again into the government. Also, he announced that COVID relief packages would go out based on race. So the end of wokeism in the government is never ceasing today, and is gaining steam and gaining manufacturing capability of pouring that poison into the river via Joe Biden and the woke operatives who are running his cabinet. So the question becomes, what can be done to combat this? And there has to be an alternative factory set up that has different sets of ideas. This is why Ben Shapiro and his company, The Daily Wire, have started movie production, because you cannot leave in the hands of leftists full monopoly control over the centers of ideas, those being the media, Hollywood, social media, the education system. All these things are the factory combined that are propagating these narratives. And if you can't destroy the narrative completely, because you do have a First Amendment right to express what it is that you want, and you have a president that has announced that he is going to crank up the manufacture of the poison that is seeping into our country.
Our focus will be on small businesses on Main Street that aren't wealthy and well-connected, that are facing real economic hardships through no fault of their own. Our priority will be Black, Latino, Asian, and Native American-owned small businesses, women-owned businesses, and finally, having equal access to resources needed to reopen and rebuild. But we're going to make a concerted effort to help small businesses in low-income communities, in big cities, small towns, rural communities that have faced systemic barriers to relief.
The best thing that you can do is run a counter narrative where people are not indoctrinated in one set of ideas, but it can at least get a grasp of what else is out there. And so by entering into production of movies, into the Hollywood scene, Ben Shapiro is doing our country an absolute service. This is why I hope his new film makes money, so that people can understand that there is a market out there for different ideas than those that are being steeped solely in wokeism. Once again, there cannot be total domination of discourse and ideas by one side of the political aisle. And this is why I 100% support Ben Shapiro. Again, go see his new movie that's going to be out soon. He's advertising it a lot on his program, which is how I found out about it. And I'm very glad that there is going to be a battle for the hearts and minds of people. And hopefully we can start earlier and also get these ideas out to children in the form of patriotism being taught in school, which I believe that Donald Trump also announced. Unfortunately, again, too late. He did not recognize the problems that were developing, which is why, unfortunately, he's now out of office right now. All the rule changes for the election being another prime example of what I speak of. But Ben Shapiro definitely has the right idea. Let's give them a big round of applause for taking the steps to mitigate the damage and the poison that is being done by the left-hand side of the aisle. Peace and blessings. If you're new, subscribe, notification bell, thumb up the video, get a dopamine hit, turn that like button blue, and have a fantastic day.